So nice you having Mangal Aarti and all that.
Yes, Prabhu, we are doing all our programs regularly.
Hmm.
Morning program is regular.
You're doing some preaching, I saw.
Yes, Prabhu. As much as possible, we purchase some books in ISKCON Delhi. We're trying to go and distribute that.
Very good. Very nice.
All your inspiration, Prabhu. Trying to do a little bit of preaching over here. See if we can,
Well, when you preach, you get inspired. That's the main thing in spiritual life. To
Yes,
get
Prabhu.
enthusiasm, we must speak about Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
All right, chant the prayers. Someone can chant.
Hare Krishna Bhutana Pranam Krishna
To get
Prabhupada.
enthusiasm, we must speak about Krishna.
Able to hear me, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Chant. Anyone
Yeah,
want to
Hare
chant?
Krishna. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunlitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitamena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Sha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinobandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everybody. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thanks again for joining in for this week's session. We're catching up on the audience. We are 20 of us and more expected to join shortly. So thanks again. As you all can see, His Grace Sundar Gopāl Prabhuji is back, back to Singapore. I think it was a bit of a very, very enthralling and electrifying 3 months of spiritual travel within India across the length and breadth of India as much as possible. He had managed to give his association and profusely preach with whatever resources and facilities he had at his dispense. Very, very inspiring, and can't can't thank enough to extend his association. Very, very dauntingly, and I think many of the new devotees who are in the curve and in the pipeline, they have taken maximum advantage of his presence there. And the key takeaway is not to go for sightseeing, but to preach. Find any avenue that comes your way, and see ways how you can hold programs, no matter how less the resources or the circumstances can be, as compelling as possible. So we welcomed him in our own grand gesture as possible. Very, very happy to see him back and get back his association. At the same time, still a lot being awaited in terms of his experience, the realizations, and the seeds that he had sown while he was there. So we are yet to catch up, and we wish him well with all his endeavors and his future endeavors coming his way. So with that note, we'd like to take a stop and invite everybody to open up the floor for questions and their relations or any topics that they wish to get over in this session. So I'd like to pass on the mic to His Grace Sundar Prabhuji, please grace the session and take it forward as always. And so very valuable to get his association, although we might feel it's very, very, we take it for granted. We have this tendency to do that, but it's very, very precious. People who had been in his association recently may resonate to what I'm just trying to say. So with that, I'll take a pause and take and pass it on to His Grace Sundar Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining in this session. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Nice to be back in Singapore, and amidst all of your great association. I'm happy to, spend time with you. Most fortunate since you all are in different places. It's a nice time to get to interact with all of you. I'm very fortunate. Thank you again for your kind association. So if anybody has any questions or anything they would like to share with us, very nice.
I'd like to share some realization I had after my association with Nimani Prabhu. And my realization is whatever sins or bad habits that you have, it'll just be dissipated. I just have to share personally what I experienced with Prabhu. I was having some terrible dream of that bad habit. It was like a burning fire, and then I had a dream that Nimani Prabhu, he poured water on that burning desire, sensation, everything. And I just realized that there is no way without the devotee association I could have put out that fire. So I just have to thank the devotee association, especially Vrachika Prabhu for taking me in.
So this is very nice testimony that with the association of devotees, we tend to improve in our qualities. We tend to also understand our shortcomings. So this is how we actually grow spiritually. This is a very important realization. I thank you for this. I'm sure everyone would have some realization on their own, and that is spiritual advancement. Spiritual advancement means you get three things, you get devotion, you get realization, and you get purified. You don't commit sinful activities. So everyone is always asking this question, then how you know you are, most of you here are disciples of Prabhupada, then how you know you are making spiritual advancement, you cannot talk to Prabhupada, and you like some people are promoting this living guru philosophy. This living guru philosophy is, or those who follow that path are always asking this kind of questions, that how you know that Prabhupada is satisfied with you. So Prabhupada actually replied when he was asked this question, there are many disciples who cannot see you and cannot associate with you. How do you know that they are pleasing you? Prabhupada said, if you can have these three things, that means devotion, realization, and also if you can stay away from sinful activities, then you know you're pleasing spiritual master. So this is the test. So if you are actually improving in spiritual life, and that means you're pleasing Prabhupada. Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
So to get strength, you need to have Guru's mercy. Not that you can fight Krishna's Maya so easily, It is not some kind of easy thing to fight Krishna's Maya. Unless Krishna sanctions, you cannot do that. And Krishna will only sanction if you please Guru and Krishna. Then yes, automatically you will get the strength, Because then they ask this question, but you see all these people in the other camps are also equally doing all these activities. So what does that mean? Does it mean that they are also on the right track? Oh.
You're not on the right.
So it is explained here in this verse. Those who have disobeyed Prabhupada, he says that they are committing offenses. So when they commit an offense, especially to this disobeying the spiritual master, such an offense is especially created when disobeys the order of the spiritual master. This is called Guru Avagya. The devotee must therefore be very careful not to commit offenses against the spiritual master by disobeying his instruction. As soon as one is deviated from the instruction of the spiritual master, the uprooting of the bhakti lakta begins. See this? And gradually all the leaves dry up. So this is the, result. So you cannot try to say that, oh, they are doing all right. Yeah, seems like, but spiritual life is not the present, Spiritual life means that you maintain life, that's the test. And how
Yes.
long you can function until the last breath, that is the real thing. Ante Narayana Smriti. This Prabhupada often used to say, the test of the disciple is not when the Guru is with him, when the Guru leaves him, and that's the test. The life is measured on that, how much you can determine to fulfill the desires of Guru and Krishna.
Yes.
That's an important challenge. So you have to see this, I have seen many thousands of them were joining Prabhupada, and today where are they? Very few, extremely few left.
Yes. Mm.
So we have to realize this. Unless we get trained right, Prabhupada used to say, making devotees is not important, training them is more important. So how are you going to get trained right if you are in the wrong camp? It's not going to happen.
No, bro.
Unless you are in the right association, very difficult to make advancement. Yes.
Yes, true. Very, very difficult.
Any other questions? Hmm?
The way that you describe how it is not how the disciples perform while in the presence of the guru. It's actually when he leaves, that's when the test actually begins.
Yeah, you
It
see how much you are going to assimilate and carry out the instruction of the Guru.
is true.
Yeah, when he's around, I've seen people jumping 10 feet. But where are they now?
Not here.
So that's the test. How much you are going to become determined to carry out the instruction of Prabhupada the rest of your life. That's the test, no? Yes. Can always say Dandavad, Prabhu. I mean, really, how much you're going to do the Dandavad, that we have to see, no? Yes.
That's true.
What is this?
Uh,
From YouTube, Namo Narayana Swamiji. I wanted to ask whether a fall down from Vaikuntha possible, because many ISKCON people say this. Yes, I can show you two verses. You can see here how we have come from these two places from the Vaikuntha. So here you can see in this verse, my dear gentle friend, both you and I are exactly like two swans. We live together in the same heart, which is like the Manasa lake. Although we have been living together for thousands of years, we are still far away from our original home. So you can see here from this statement that we actually come from our original place. Yes? Again, here you can see those who are less intelligent accept the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies as all in all. They do not know that the purpose of the Veda is to understand one's own home, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead lives, not being interested in their real home, their illusion and search after other homes. So from here you can see that the real home where the Lord is living, and we all know for a fact that the Lord lives in Vaikuntha and Goloka Vrindavan. So that is our original home. So this is important statement to show that we fell from the original home. Generally, people are not aware of their interest in life to return home back to garden. People do not know that their real home is in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there are many Vaikuntha planets, and the topmost planet is Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan. Despite the so-called advancement of civilization, there is no information of the bright Vaikuntha Lokas, the spiritual planet. At the present moment, so-called advanced civilized men are trying to go to other planets, but they do not know that even if they go to the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka, they have to come back again to this planet. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. If one goes to the highest planet system within the universe, he will still have to return after the effects of pious activities are finished. Space vehicle may go very high in the sky, but as soon as their fuel is finished, they have to return to this earthly planet. All these activities are performed in illusion. The real attempt should now be to return back home, back to garden. The process is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Yanti Madhyagino Pimam. Those who engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead return home back to Godhead. Human life is very valuable. One should not waste it in vain exploration of other planets. You see this one important point. Recently there was a big talk about some people going to the moon. See, human life is very valuable and should not waste it in vain exploration of other planets. One should be intelligent enough to return to Godhead. One should be interested in information about the spiritual Vaikuntha planet and a particular planet known as Goloka Vrindavan, and should learn the art of going there by a simple method of devotional service, beginning with hearing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. This is also confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Kale Dosha Niderajan Astiya Eko Mahan Guna Kirtanareva Krishnasya Muktashangam Parambrijat. One can go to the supreme planet Parambrijat simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is specially meant for people of this age. Kaler Dosha Nide. It is a special advantage of this age that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become purified of all material contamination and return home back to Godhead. There is no doubt about this. So see from this statement you can see how we all were in our original home, and some or other we have fallen down to this material world. So there is proof that we were coming from the spiritual world. Because some proponents they say that we never went to the spiritual world, but this Bhagavatam statement is not, it's setting things right. Unless we come from a real home, how did we come from a real home? We must have fallen from the real home. Yes. Otherwise, how did we come here? We can also say that we perceive bhakti ourselves through beliefs. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam. Bhakti is something called, bhakti means got three things in bhakti. You got devotion, you got the Supreme Lord, and you got the devotee. Unless there's these three things, then bhakti cannot take place. Devotion can only take place when there is something to devote to. And unless you devote to the Lord, it is not called bhakti. You cannot use bhakti for your other things than Krishna. Because the strictest sense of the term, love can only be applied to the Lord. Anything applied to other objects, usually it is a perverted love or called lust. And lust is not purifying, it's conditioning. Whereas love for God is liberating. So there are two different parallels, You cannot say by bhakti, by bhakti, by when we perceive bhakti ourselves through bliss. Bliss is a vague term, Bliss can be what? Material bliss or spiritual bliss. So when you get devotion, when you're connected to Krishna, only then you can get bliss. But you cannot ordinarily, by mundane happiness, perceive the Supreme Lord. That's not possible. To perceive the Supreme Lord, you have to learn how to become a devotee through a devotee. Then once you are connected to Krishna, then you become blissful. It is not the other way around. By being blissful, then you get bhakti. It doesn't make sense. You can only get devotion when you are connected to the Lord. And when you get devotion, then bliss is part of devotion. Not that from bliss you get bhakti. Actually, from bhakti you get the bliss. That's why Krishna says this is the topmost knowledge, as you have quoted the verse. This is the secret of all secret. You can directly perceive yourself with the Supreme Lord. And when you do that, then you become unlimitedly happy. You understand? So unless you do your devotional service, how are you going to get happiness? So your statement that from bliss you get bhakti, it's not very appropriate. Is it clear? Yes?
Yes, thank you.
In fact, Krishna says only by devotional service you can understand me as I am. He never says that by bliss only you can understand me as I am. Did he say that? Only by devotional service you can see me as I am. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness to me with such devotion, he can enter in the kingdom of God. So bliss is a byproduct, of bhakti. When you serve the Lord, then naturally you become happy. It is not that by being happy then only you can serve the Lord. So by serving the Lord, everything automatically comes in, You understand? So it's our duty to serve the Lord by all means. And because the Lord is all blissful, by going to Him, naturally you also become blissful. Correct? Yes? Who asked this question? Yes? Rahul, you asked this question.
I was stating that statement in support of that we may not be in physical presence of Guru. So if we are practicing devotional service and we are feeling genuine spiritual bliss, so we can support that it is the right thing we are doing.
Oh, in that statement. Well, if you just follow the instruction of Guru and do whatever he says, then automatically all this comes, Of course, you may, in that sense, say you're getting bliss. That means you are on the right track. You cannot deny that also, because if you are serving Prabhupada, definitely if you follow the instruction, then devotional service brings about happiness. No doubt about that. But by serving the spiritual master and Krishna, then you get these things. You come to a happy state, You cannot become blissful by other material arrangement. That can, but it's only temporary. So eternal blissful life can only come about by being in contact with Krishna or his pure devotees. That's the essence of this. Because Krishna is by nature the owner of all bliss, Sachidananda. Actually, when you go to him, you will also become happy. That's a symptom of devotional service. Yes. Anybody else got anything to add on this? Happy to see you in Singapore with us and grateful to have your association of 3 months of successful. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Any other questions?
Not a question, but I would have to say, in comparison, when I was previously in training in Delaware by ISKCON, I was seeing even within 2 weeks, in the first half of the week, I'll be going up, and then immediately I'll be going down to the same problems, and I never saw myself advance past that when I was in that association in ISKCON. But when I first got association of Imanita Prabhu, you, and all the devotees in ISKM, it was, I would have to say, like night and day, Prabhu. And it's very clear that Prabhupada was pleased when I chose to surrender to this process that he has given us. I just wanted to share that. And
It's nice realization. Without spiritual master, you cannot make any advancement. That's why it is explained that one must have a spiritual master. There's no compromisation on this point. Without the help of a bona fide spiritual master, it's impossible to go to Krishna. When we say bona fide, means the spiritual master must be bona fide, As now someone was asking me the question that everyone thinks that going back to Godhead is so simple, they just have to chant and that's it, But you can see from this statement that it is not so easy unless you have. And the statement here you can see, this was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of Supreme Personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconception even at the last moment of their lives. So in the purport here, Prabhupada is saying the highest perfection of life is attained by remembering the transcendental nature of the Lord at the last moment of one's life. This perfection of life is possible for one who has learned the actual transcendental nature of the Lord from the Vedic hymns sung by liberated soul like Sukadev Goswami or someone in the line of disciplic succession. So again here, unless a person gets associated with a liberated soul or someone in the line of disciplic succession, see that here again? So it is not something very cheap, There's no gain in hearing Vedic hymns from some mental speculator. When the same is heard from an actual self-light soul and is properly understood by service and submission, everything becomes transcendently clear. See? Heard from an actual realized soul who is properly understood by, again, by service and submission, then everything becomes transparently clear. So if you want to get things clear, then you must be approaching a actual self-realized soul, not a conditioned soul. Thus, a submissive disciple is able to live transcendently and continue to the end of life. By scientific adaptation, one is able to remember the Lord even at the end of life, when the power of remembrance slackens due to dearrangement of bodily membranes. For a common man, it is very difficult to remember things as they are at the time, death, but by the grace of the Lord, see this thing again, but by the grace of the Lord, and his bona fide devotees, and the spiritual masters, one can get this opportunity without difficulty. And it was done in the case of Maharaj Parikshit. So you can see, in order to be able to have firm consciousness until the time of death, you need the mercy of the Lord and his bona fide devotees, and also the spiritual master. And his bona fide devotee is the spiritual master. So without help of Guru and Krishna, bona fide Guru and of course the Lord, one can get this opportunity without difficulty. But if you don't have a bona fide spiritual master, then it goes again, that you'll not be able to get this opportunity to be able to focus your mind on the Lord. You understand? That we are getting this chance to remember the Lord only by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. It is not that our own strength we can do all these things. That's not possible. I had a few questions. While I was traveling. There was, I think it was once in Delhi and once in Bombay, or maybe in Bombay, in Delhi. Said, Prabhu, what you're saying is all nice, but how do we actually apply it practically? We find that to try to, think of Krishna is so difficult. I said, that's the reason, because you don't have a guru. So here again, this is said here, without the help of a bona fide devotee, the spiritual master, one cannot get this opportunity. So this opportunity is given only by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. And 99% of the people don't have a guru. And how Krishna will, come into your consciousness? Huh? Krishna consciousness is not a very cheap program, you know, that anybody will chant and everybody will go home back to Godhead. It'll be very difficult to control the mind. It's not a very easy program. If you don't play it according to the rules, then you're going to get millions of problems, you know. Especially it says one who rejects the Guru, then he will face a lot of obstacles in his spiritual path, you know. So this is important to understand this, because the mind is not such an, subtle element that you can easily capture by your own special strength. It's not possible. That's why Krishna says, only by surrendering to me, you can overcome my Maya. Otherwise, it's not possible. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
I mean, we have taken millions and millions of births because of our association with this mind, you know. And we all made mistakes. Otherwise, why we are here, you know? Yes? Correct.
Yes.
We all fell down because of our mind. So are we prepared to again give in to the same faults? Should think carefully. That's why we need to be very understanding this is only made possible by Krishna and the bona fide Guru. Otherwise, spiritual life is going. Yes. Yes or not? Hello?
It's a fact, Prabhu. It's a fact.
It's going to be dangerous also, you know. Messing around, then you're going to be taking again another birth. I think that's not going to be very painful, you know.
I really don't want that.
Oh yeah, I mean, who wants to do that, you know? But if you're not careful, then again, this is going to be dangerous. Correct?
Correct.
So we have to be, that's why Prahlad said, no, we have to be, very much frightened of the material energy. What? So of course Prahlad says we have to be very careful. He's like here, he's saying, I'm frightened. I'm not frightened of your form, but I'm afraid. Yeah? I'm afraid of this material energy, you know. So you see, I am very much afraid of my conditional life within the material world because of my association with all these demons. You know. See how Prahlad is also becoming frightened. And again here you can see how unless one becomes disgusted with material energy, so we have to become disgusted with material. So we have to be very careful. So this is very important, you know. Again, having vacant faith in narration of my glories, we disgusted with all material activities, knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery. So you see how the devotee should become disgusted, you know. So we have to understand that this material world is not our place, you know. We have to give up. See, when a person is disgusted with the temporary, illusory nature of this world and is detached from it, his mind guided by the instruction of his spiritual master, considers again and again this material world and eventually gives up the false identification with matter. So you can see how this it's very important, you know. So we cannot be in our heart, you know, have any attraction for Maya. And this thing can only develop when we become attached to Krishna consciousness. Attached to, see? Without being attached to Krishna, very difficult, you know, to give up this material called sense gratification. That's why Krishna says, unless one has a higher taste, he cannot give up the lower taste, no? Hmm?
Yes, bro.
So firstly, Prahlad Maharaj said that I am very frightened of this Maya. And here it is explained that we must become disgusted with Maya. Hmm? So you see how our consciousness have to develop. And trying to become free from Maya, we have to become very serious in our devotional service. I explained last week, we're going to be taking it easy and thinking Maya is also nice, you know, everything is nice, you know, why? Sometimes we become very much attached in that sense to the mode of goodness, thinking that everything is good, no? Yes, conditioning, sense of conditioning, you know. It is explained here also. We should have no desire to stay in the material world, you know. So you can see a human being who is wise should never desire promotion to heavenly planets or residence in hell. Indeed, a human being should not desire permanent residence even on the earth. For by such absorption in the material body, one becomes foolishly negligent of one's actual self-interest. See how important it is, you know. That's why Prabhupada gave the example of walking on a razor's edge, you know. One slight slip and you get cut, you know. See how dangerous it is. That's why we must be very vigilant and careful and not to be dragged away by Maya. As there's also a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, any one of the senses acting can easily bring the mind away, you know. I think that is there in the Bhagavad Gita, no? Any one of the senses, correct? It's in chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. Yes? Anyone knows?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, even one of the senses acting can easily take the mind away. Huh? Right? As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence, you know. Huh? Yes? So you see how the mind, the senses are very powerful. So it is not something that we can think that is all right, you know. Take it easy, you know. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
We must become very determined, you know. No more this material world. I had enough of it, you know.
I had enough.
Yes. Why I want to stay here, you know?
Sometimes I think that this material life is like that one TV show, Fear Factor, where they're just doing all these crazy, disgusting things just to win $1 million. And just like how my material life was, you know, I was trying to get happiness through so many disgusting things.
So you see how very, you know, because when we sidetrack, especially trying to get money, you know, then all these other bad qualities develop in our heart. Once you get money, then you want to try to get sense gratification. And that's when all other bad qualities develop one after the other.
Should a brahmachari even carry money? Because just having just a little money, that means independence.
Yeah, it's the idea to become detached, no? The moment you are, that's what even the modern education is all about, how to make money, more money, which gives you the, opens the door for your so-called material happiness, you know. So the whole education system is on the wrong track, you know, because they are trying to get sense pleasure externally. But our education is different. Our education is to get pleasure from the Lord, you know, by serving Him. And that's internal, because God is sitting in our heart. Whereas the modern education is always driving us to the external senses. Whereas spiritual education is trying to bring you to your actual position of being a servant of God. So if you go on the material side, as often people say, oh, I will just go there and get some money, and this way I can also use it to serve Krishna. Krishna don't require your money, you know. Krishna has plenty of it. In fact, on the contrary, Krishna is giving you the money. Yeah. This is a foolish idea. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Prahlad, a devotee like you never desires any material opulence." The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always fully satisfied in himself. And therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated. So you can see here from the statement, therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. So people tend to think that, oh, because of them giving the so-called funds to the temple or center, that they are helping the temple. Because of their contribution, the devotees are surviving. So this idea has to be purified. Oh, because you can study and get some good job, then you can get some good income, and in this way you'll be able to support, the temple or whatever. They think like that. But it's not a fact, You can see here by this statement, by the Lord's mercy, by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. Only by the mercy of the Lord you can talk, you can walk, you can hear, you can do all these things, And we take it for granted. If somehow or other, if the Lord can pull some nerve in the head, and you will be permanently paralyzed. That also the Lord can do. So it is by the Lord's mercy that the devotee or whoever gets some kind of assets,
True.
You understand this? And people think the other way around, that they are maintaining. No. Everything is maintained by the Lord. Who gets what, it is all there, written. According to your karma, so much is due, so much you get. Cannot change that. So who decides that? You have to understand, it's all done by the Lord. Yeah. So you giving back to the Lord is only for your purification. That's what it says here. So it's very important to understand this principle, So then the devotee will always have this humility that he knows that everything is coming from God, everything has to go back to him also. But if you start thinking that you are the doer, then your consciousness is very polluted. You have to always understand the real doer is God Himself, nobody else. That's why Krishna says, I am seated in the heart of everybody and I am directing. So the devotees are helplessly, carried from one situation to another. Helplessly, Everyone is forced to act helplessly. See? Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. And therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So we should understand this. I am put into this body, I am trapped in this body. According to my previous action, I am forced to go into different situations. So I can only come out of this with the help of another person, a realized soul, a guru, a bona fide guru, who will teach me how to unlock myself from this entanglement. Otherwise, it's not possible. The more and more we enjoy the senses, the more and more we become bewildered, and the more and more we think in the term of I and my, and that's it. We are gradually going down to hell. And all this is facilitated by the process of trying to acquire more sense gratification through having, a good job and whatnot. That's why the Brahminical principle is to become detached from this earning process. The Brahminical principle lives on the process of pure donation. Whatever you give, no problem. So when we live in that kind of environment, then our consciousness gets purified.
So
It's a problem.
I still have some money in the account and everything.
Because you
I
have
do feel like
some money in your account, nowadays everything goes by the account. We're not saying you don't have nothing, but the main thing is to not become too greedy about a whole thing, and try to
yeah,
think it's always more and more. The money is like that. The more you have, the more you want. So we should learn how to become detached. That's the main principle.
learn how to become detached.
Hmm. And how to become detached unless you become disgusted with this Maya thing. The more and more you are complacent and you think you are in a happy state, then you will never want to renounce. Huh? Have to learn how to become renounced, then you can get into devotional service, which is the ultimate goal of one's life. Hmm? Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious, ritualistic performance does not raise him to renunciation, anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although living, although he is breathing. So you see how Devahuti is explaining this point. Huh? So we
Yes,
have to
bro.
how this works, we have to come to this point, coming devoted to the Lord. Devavuti's statement is that since he was attached to living as the husband for sense gratification, which does not lead to liberation from material entanglement, the life was simply a waste of time. Any work one performs that does not lead to the state of religious life is useless activity. Everyone is by nature inclined to some sort of work, and when that work leads one to religious life, and religious life leads one to renunciation, and renunciation leads to one to devotional service, one attains the perfection of work. As said in the Bhagavad Gita, any work that does not lead ultimately to the standard of devotional service is a cause of bondage in the material world. Yajnanartha karmonayatra lokayam karma bandhanaha. Unless one is gradually elevated to the position of devotional service, beginning from his natural activity, he is to be considered a dead body. Work which does not lead one to the understanding of Krishna consciousness is considered useless. And we all know, if you don't become a devotee of Krishna, you messed up everything. You don't want to be a devotee, then you're going to have tremendous reaction. It's not possible. That's why she says here, if you do not get devotional service, then you must be considered dead, although he is breathing. Yeah. It's a waste of time. Going down to the lower birth, that's not very intelligent, no? That's why once you having got this human body, we should try to work for succession. One who has got this human body, he should endeavor for succession. After many, many birth and death, one achieves the rare human form of life, which although temporary affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. A sober human being should quickly endeavor for ultimate perfection of life, as long as the body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for human beings. Material life essentially means repeated birth and death. Even the lowest form of life, such as reptile, insect, pigs, and dogs, have ample opportunity for sense gratification. Even ordinary houseflies have a busy sex life and thus multiply rapidly. A human life, however, enables one to understand the absolute truth and therefore full of grave responsibility. Since the valuable human life is not eternal, we should do the needful to achieve the highest perfection, Krishna consciousness. Before death appears, we should seriously cultivate ourselves, our real self-interest. One can experience Krishna consciousness in the association of devotees of the Lord. Without the association, one is in danger of being attracted to the impersonal conception of life, which causes one to fall away from devotional service to absolute truth. Or being discouraged by one's failure to understand the absolute truth, one may return to the false platform of sense gratification. In conclusion, human life is meant for cultivating Krishna consciousness under the guidance of experienced, self-realized devotees. So you see how valuable this human form of life is. We should try to become very serious in our endeavor. Otherwise, we can get misled.
Yes.
Because this Maya is very attractive,
So very attractive. Have to reject it.
Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Please accept my humble obeisances. So glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. I was unable to join earlier. I wanted to ask about how we should react when somebody speaks of Prabhupada in an improper way, because The other day, I was with a devotee that he's from the Shri Sampradaya, and we were talking about God and maybe Harikatha like this, and he told me something like Prabhupada is too strict, and I
Prabhupada is what?
like too strict,
Strict. Oh yeah.
and in the moment I didn't know what to say, so I changed the subject. But later on, I was on my altar in front of Prabhupada pictures, and I started crying, and I felt like I should have said something. Like so the next day I saw him, I told him, please never spoke to me about Prabhupada unless it is for glorifying, because it's not good. That's what I was feeling. But I wanted to ask like this, how we should approach when some other so-called devotees talking about Prabhupada and maybe giving opinions like this.
Of course, if it's saying Prabhupada is strict, then it's not saying anything wrong, because Prabhupada is strict and
No,
spirit.
but he said it in a bad way. Like, no, it's a problem because he's too strict. Like, it's a problem, he said.
Actually, spiritual life means you must become strict. You should explain. And if a person is not strict, then he cannot become a spiritual guide. Yes?
Okay.
In fact, if you are not strict, then you will fall down. If you want to come out of Maya, you must be very strict. Strictly following everything. Yes?
Yes.
Otherwise, it is not possible. That's why it says in that verse, unfailingly, Yes? You should have quoted him some verses to explain that how you must become very strict, no? So here in this verse you can see how it says that one who engage in devotional service, unfailing. You see here this word? Huh? How you can become unfailing if you are not strict? Yes?
Yes.
Correct? So spiritual life means, as I have explained, you must become very strict with yourself. And of course you can be lenient with others, but you must be very strict with yourself. Example is shown not only by Prabhupada, even Prabhupada Guru, he was offered mango when he was a little boy. And the father chastised him. He wanted to eat mango and is not offered near to the Lord. How you can take? Just mildly the father chastised him, and from that day onwards he never took mango in his life. It's not strict. A child, wanting to eat the fruit not offered is no offense actually, but he took it so seriously. So this Prabhupada explained is the seriousness and the strictness of the Acharya. Correct?
Yes.
So,
Yes, Prabhu.
must tell him, if you're not strict like your Sampradaya, all you guys are drinking coffee and tea and onion and garlic. See how you have compromised. Because you're not strict, you have compromised and now you have fallen down. Instead of chanting Hare Krishna, you're waking up and asking for coffee. What kind of a nonsense is that? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
So it's very important to know that you have to become strict, no? Yes?
Yes, I think I'm getting more serious after this 1 year already, 1 year doing sadhana. I'm feeling this por favor, espera. This seriousness. I'm so sorry, my baby's crying.
We have to understand that spiritual life is a serious business, no? Yes,
Yes.
the spiritual master must very strictly follow the Brahminical principle and teach that to his disciple. Hmm? Correct.
Yes, Prabhu.
But to speak of Prabhupada, they also accuse us for being too strict.
Mhm.
So all these people could not find any fault, so they have to imagine some fault. Yeah? Because they are so weak in their practices. So anything that is, not in line with their so-called behavior, then they try to find some faults and try to nullify it so that they can carry on with their so-called mentality. Yes?
It's like taking all us down to the level they want to be.
Yes. They're trying to. I never read that you can do nonsense and get away with it. No,
Yes.
correct. So
We can see this as a symptom of being under Maya, right? This bending the rules.
that we can also see what's happening with our ISKCON, because they're now strict. They're deviated from Prabhupada's teaching, so they're compromising with practically many things. Yes, and the more and more you compromise, the more and more you become weak spiritually.
And it is okay for us to go see the deities in ISKCON temple, or better avoid.
Well, you can go, but if you go too often, then they will start trying to associate with you, and that's where you're going to have problems, no?
Because because I don't have any.
No, if you can go there and you can preach to them, that's very good. But if you go there and
No,
you're going to get preached to, that's not good, Correct?
No, I will get preached to.
That's dangerous, no?
Yes. No, I'm
When
not strong
you
enough.
go there and you preach to someone and may have him understand the real position of Prabhupada, then that's very good. You should go there every day. But if you're going there and you're going to be preached to and you're going to be disturbing, that's going to be disturbing your consciousness, and that's dangerous, no?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's a matter of association. So that's why a pure devotee can go anywhere, go to hell, so no problem, But one who is not in their level, then he has to be a little careful, Correct?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you.
So very dangerous, So we have to be cautious.
Also, there is a devotee on the chat asking if it's okay to accept prashadam in ISKCON temple.
Of course, it is. You have no choice. Then what else to do, no? Correct?
Mhm.
If no choice, then what are you going to do, huh? But if you're going to make it a regular thing, then that's going to be an issue,
Yes, Prabhu.
If it's going to be a 1, 2, 3 time kind of affair, then no problem. But if you're going to say that, no, I'm only eating this, then you're going to have some issues. Better to cook yourself, no? If you can. Yes?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
You keep accepting food from them, then you'll become like them. offending Prabhupada. Yes,
Yes.
very dangerous, no?
Mm. It's not worth the danger.
Not so good, but if you got no choice between that and dying, then yeah, what else to do, no? But if you're going to make it an everyday affair, then that's going to be something that you got to think about. Yes?
Yes.
Just like Bhishma Dev, he accepted the food from Duryodhan. He became contaminated. Correct?
Yes.
So you try. Best if you can do it yourself, that's the best. Otherwise, what to do?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Does Krishna accept their offering because they do in the wrong way? We offer through Prabhupada and they do in their own way. Any other way than Prabhupada's way, I don't see it right. Yes? And Prabhupada said the moment you disobey the spiritual master, you become useless. And when you offer your food to some useless person, how you'll become useful? Hello?
Yes, Prabhu.
A conditioned soul cannot approach Krishna, Correct? So if a
Yes, bro.
conditioned soul cannot offer Krishna, then how you are offering to the conditioned soul, then how you will become purified? Yes?
Yes, bro.
So we have to understand this, It's not something so cheap, that anybody and everybody can do anything they like and get away with this, no? Yes?
Yes, bro.
We have to be very, very cautious. Very important, no? Unfortunate, no?
It's very important. Actually.
So we are going to a conditioned soul and thinking that, we are getting some spiritual so-called thing when that conditioned soul is completely rejected by Prabhupada. And how this thing will work, no? Correct? How to go
Yes,
to Prabhupada by going through somebody who's condemned by Prabhupada? Doesn't make sense to me. Huh? Correct?
yes, bro. Yes.
The words and mind of the conditioned soul cannot approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for material names and form are not applicable to the Lord, who is entirely spiritual, beyond the conception of gross and subtle form. Impersonal Brahman is another of his form. May he, by his pleasure, protect us. So you can see here this thing. Huh? So if you go to a conditioned soul and you're trying to use him to go to God, how is going to be working? Correct?
Correct. Very direct.
Yeah. And they all say they are not pure devotees, they are conditioned souls. Prabhupada is a pure devotee. So why don't you go to Prabhupada directly? Yes?
That should be the case for everyone.
They're claiming to become God. I mean, pure devotee, a condition, right?
Rightly conditioned. Yes.
Correct. That's why we must go through a liberated person, a Mahabhagavata. We cannot try to do our devotional service in our own way, In the Padma Puranam, the characteristic of the Guru or the bona fide spiritual master has been described. The Guru must be situated in the topmost platform of devotional service. The three classes of devotee and the Guru must be accepted from the topmost class. The first class devotee is the spiritual master of all kinds of people. It is said, Guru Narnam. The word Narnam means of all human beings. Guru is not limited to a particular group. It is said in the Upadesa Marutha by Rupa Goswami that a Guru is a Goswami, a controller of the senses of the mind. Such a Guru can accept disciples from all over the world. Prithivim Shas is here. This is the test of the Guru. So we have to understand this point, no? And if a person is not coming from this category, then he should be rejected. It says here in this verse, so Jiva Goswami has said here, Sri Jiva Goswami has advised that such a useless guru, a family priest acting as guru, should be given up, and that a proper bona fide guru should be accepted. A guru who is Guru api avaliptasya means who have fallen down in principles. Karyam akaryam ajanataha, who does not know what to do, what not to do. And then here utpatta means one who has gone on the wrong path. All these persons must be given up. Parityago vidiyate. So it's not that you blindly accept a guru, no. This is the big problem now. Everybody thinks that If someone is a Prabhupada disciple, he automatically becomes a guru, no? Huh?
Mm. Yes.
If he's a Prabhupada disciple, but he is not authorized by his guru, how he can become a guru? Huh?
Not possible.
It's not authorized by his guru, then how he can become a guru? Hmm? One should take initiation from a bona fide spiritual master coming the disciplic succession who is authorized by his predecessor spiritual master. This is called Diksha Vidhana. Where's the authorization? This is our question. Hmm? And if you go to such a person and try to associate with him who's got no authority, then what benefit you going to get? Hmm?
None. None whatsoever.
And that is explained. You have leaders who have fallen in ignorance, they lead their disciples on the wrong path, then they are like boarding on a spoon boat. And the boat will sink and along with them and the followers all go to hell. You understand? This is very important, This principle has to be understood, that authorization is required. You cannot get authorization from a group of conditioned souls. A group of conditioned soul cannot elect another conditioned soul. Huh? How does it make sense? Huh?
Mm.
So who is going to be a guru is appointed by Krishna himself. By the predecessor spiritual master. You not just
Yes.
stamp someone and say, okay, now you become guru. It's not a process, So this is what's happening. It has cheapened the process. And without any authority, these conditioned souls are all clamoring for this position. And like a blind sheep leading another blind sheep, they all fall into the well. Hmm? Correct? It is 31 or something. Name Vidua. Huh? Name Vidu Swartagatim Vishnu. What is that? 7.5. 31. Next verse. Persons who are strongly entrapped by consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to some material external sense object cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead, engage in the service of the Lord Vishnu. As a blind man guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, a materially attached man led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. You see how? So I have a question, Prabhu. Does ghosts get one kind of a body or they roam on subtle body only? Srila Prabhupada said ghosts only has subtle body. But in that case, how so many people are able to see ghosts throughout the world? They have no body. Hare Krishna. So yes, ghosts are roaming around in their subtle body, and some animal like the dogs and all, they can see the ghosts. So if some human being have got some, some special, vision, they can also see all these ghosts. So what's the thing about these ghosts? They exist, and Krishna says they exist. Krishna says in this verse, those who worship ghosts, they become ghosts. So here you can see in this word, Bhutani. Bhutani means referring to ghosts. Huh? Bhuta Ijya, worshippers of ghosts and spirits. So they become ghosts. So they exist, that's the point. Those who worship ghosts and spirit will take birth among such beings. So it is not something fiction. It's also there. People who commit suicide, die prematurely, then they end up in this ghostly body. So it is not that they're not there and it is all some joke. No. And the animals like dog, they all can see this, and every night they are howling. Why they are howling? Because they are seeing these things, these beings. And there are also some people who are also able to see them. So what's the point of seeing them or knowing they exist? Main thing is to avoid in getting into their shoes, They're not all friendly, as Prabhupada said. So it's better to stay away from them. And the only way you can stay away from them is when you become spiritually strong. The moment you chant and connect yourself to Krishna, all these beings, they will leave you. They will not come to a place where the chanting is going on. Yes?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So it's better to avoid, getting in contact because they all are in the mode of ignorance. Ghosts and spirits, worship of demigod in goodness, worship of the ancestors is all in the mode of passion, and worshipping the ghosts is the mode of ignorance. But if you stay with Krishna, which is transcendental goodness, then you are not afflicted by all this. In fact, if someone is trapped in a ghostly body, if you chant, you can help them get back to a spiritual body. Just like there was a ghost living under a big tree, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur employed a Brahmin to read the Bhagavatam under the tree every day. And when the Bhagavatam was completed, the tree fell down and the ghost disappeared for good. So spiritual activities liberate them, So this is the best thing you can do is to chant. Yes?
Yes, Prabhuji. Right. Yeah.
Any other questions? So, okay, I guess thank you all for very much for your kind association. Nice
Uh,
to be with all of you.
Krishna, there is one question on YouTube. Just paste it.
Is the question?
Yeah, so I'll just paste it in the chat.
I have, who did that?
One second, I'll just paste it. Yeah.
Hey, Swami, what to do if someone is cursing you when you are trying to do something good for them? Okay, have to go back to this thing. Yeah? All right. So this is the position. So here in this verse, when a person realizes you, he no longer cares about the good and bad fortune arising from past or pious or sinful acts, since it is you alone who control this good and bad fortune. Such realized devotee disregards what ordinary living beings say about him. Every day he fills his ears with your glories, which are recited in each age by the unbroken succession of Manu's descendant, and thus you become his ultimate salvation. So here you can see that you become a realized soul, you disregard whatever people are saying. There's always going to be somebody saying something, correct? Nobody is free from this. When you become indifferent to all that is said and all that is heard, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also said, no? Yes. Then you become strong spiritually. Because there will always be somebody saying something that you cannot avoid. Yes? Is it not?
Yes.
When you do good also they say something. When you do bad also they may, of course bad, many guys will say, isn't it?
That's true.
So we should just, carry on our work, Not that they will not talk. Yes?
Yes.
To Bhagavad Gita 252 you're referring to?
250?
2?
Okay, what is that? 252. Yeah, here it says here. When your intelligence is passed out of the dance follows the delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. Yeah? Or you shall be indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. So you become indifferent, not disturbed. Yes.
Yes.
But what does someone... But Swamiji Srila Baladev in his Govindabhai says the karma is beginningless, implying that we were never in spiritual world. Because in spiritual world, karma does not exist. I don't understand this.
So this is a follow-up for the original question he had asked. That of the ways to go to Vaikuntha Loka. So I think he's just putting up a follow-up comment.
Karma is beginningless, implying that we were never in spiritual world. because spiritual world karma does not exist. How does that statement, rhyme together? Spiritual world has no karma.
Yeah.
Does it make sense, this question? That in the spiritual world there's no, so because spiritual there's no karma, so we should not come from the spiritual world? How does it make sense? Hello? I don't understand this question here.
I think he mean in spiritual world there won't be any karma, right, Prabhu? But Baladev Vidya Bhushana in Govinda Bhasha told that karma is beginningless. That means in spiritual world also karma is there. Is it something like that? Does karma exist?
Yeah, there is action in the spiritual world, but that action is without any reaction. That's what is called akarma. There's three karmas, karma, vikarma, and akarma. So devotees are all doing akarma. So there's no reaction to this action that serving Krishna. So why you can't have actions in the spiritual world? There are so many activities going on in the spiritual world. There's so many pastimes and so many actions for serving the Yes?
Yep.
It says except for killing, there's no, everything else is there. Yes? Unless it is there with God, action, then how you will manifest in the material world. I think this statement doesn't make any sense, that there's no karma in the spiritual world. Doesn't make sense. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
There's spiritual actions, that's all we know. Krishna does so many activities there in the spiritual world. Is it not?
That's 100% fact.
It's full of variety, pastimes of the Lord. The Lord is engaged in ever blissful pastimes. Anandam Buddhivardhanam. Yes? So, this thing is not very correct. Of course, karma is beginningless because nobody can tell when you started this karma. The material world, who knows when you started? As soon as you take birth in the material world, you have action. Yes? And action, you have got so many reactions.
And karma is only confined to human species, right, Prabhu?
Yes.
Yeah.
But when you were taking birth as human beings in so many lives, you only have to accumulate. Some karma may be finished, some are beginning, some in the seed stage. Correct?
Right.
Isn't it? So all these things can only be nullified when you take to Krishna consciousness. And that's why Krishna says after many, many births of pious activities. Correct? Yes?
Yeah.
What does this many, many birth? After many, many births executing pious activities, when one is completely free from all contamination from illusory activities, dualities, one become engaged in transcendental loving service. What is this many, many birth here? Hello? If you have been doing many, many births of pious activity, there are also many, many births of sinful activity. Is it not? You mean to say you only do pious activities? You also may be implicated in some sinful activity? Correct? Yes?
Yes, bro.
So you have to pay for that. So the only way of coming all out of this is to take up the devotional process. Only the Lord has the power to nullify all these things. Nobody else has power. Who has this power? Nobody. Correct? Aprabda palam papam kutam bijam palam mukham. So the karma is in this stages, Some is in the sweet stage. Some is before the seed stage, kutam, before it manifests, then bijam is seed stage, and then palan mukam coming out in the form of fruit. So there are different stages of this sinful activities. In the Padma Purana, man's sinful activities have been analyzed and are shown to be results of sin of the sin. Those engaged in fruitive activity are entangled in different types, stages, and forms of sinful reaction. For instance, when the seed of a particular tree is shown, the seed does not appear immediately to grow. It takes some time. It is first a small sprouting plant, then it assumes the form of a tree, then it bears flowers and fruits. And when it's complete, the flowers and fruits are enjoyed by a person who has sown the seed of the tree. Similarly, a man performs a sinful act, and like a seed, it takes time to fructify. There are different stages. The sinful action may have already stopped within the individual, but the result of the fruit of that sinful action is still to be suffered. There are sins which are still in the form of seed, and there are others which are already fructified and are giving us fruit, which we are experiencing as distress and pain. So sins are also there in different births. So it goes on. So we have to understand this, So all these sinful activities can be wiped out if we take up the process of devotional service. Only by the mercy of the Lord. That's why Krishna says also in the Bhagavad Gita, you surrender to me and I will deliver you from all sinful reaction. So here again, kramaneva praliyate Vishnu bhakti ratatmanam. Praliyate means completely destroyed, all these sins by taking shelter of Krishna or Vishnu. Only by devotional service, all this can be rectified. For those who are engaged in devotional service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all sinful reactions, you see here the word, all sinful reaction, whether fructify in stalk or in the form of seed, gradually vanish. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
It should be understood in context. There is also a song, Anadi Karma Pale. This means that immemorable of a life. 5 topics discussed. Gita, karma is not eternal while the soul is eternal. Yes, I don't deny that. Karma is not eternal. It can be finished by the power of God. But because we have been living since time immemorial until we come in contact with Krishna, in Krishna consciousness through a pure devotee, our karma is always there with us. Yes. So therefore the best way is to become Krishna conscious. Okay, thank you all so much for your time. Stop here then. All glories to all of you. All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Deepo. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much.